Hello everyone. In this video we want to continue talking about the properties to describe a wave. We already studied the wavelength and the amplitude and how to find the amplitude and the wavelength. Now we want to move to other property that we can use to describe the wave.
Are you ready to learn about
property, which is the frequency. Before we start talking about the frequency and what is the meaning of a frequency, I want to talk about a term which is the wave period. So what is the wave period? Actually is the time required for one cycle, the full time that is required for a full cycle. So this is the definition of a period or wave period. You can highlight it here, is the time required for one cycle. Okay, how can we measure the period? We can find the time for one full cycle. And if you want to look at this graph here, or this figure here in your book, which is on page 19, for example, for the time required for this this here to pass from one crest and continue to the next crest, okay, it needs how much? It needs 5 seconds. So this is the period for a complete cycle. Yani for example, I'll give you like here another example about how to find the period. For example, there is an object is here. For this object to reach, to complete the full cycle, to reach to this point here, okay, this one is called what? The time is required to reach to this point is called what? The period. Okay, so this is about the period. For this one here, as it shows in the figure, the pi moves down and back up every 5 seconds as wave back. So this 5 seconds represent what? Represent the period. This is the wave period. Also we can talk about and we can use another term. This term is another way to express the time of waves, which cycle is which is frequency. What is the frequency of a wave? Tells how many cycles or how many waves occur in amount of time. Okay, how many cycles occur in amount of time. And the unit is used usually, actually the time is used what, which is in the 1 second, yani how many waves in 1 second. And the unit is used to describe the frequency is called what? Is called hertz or Hz. Okay, so what is the definition of hertz? Let's write now or highlight the definition of hertz. 1 hertz equal what? To 1 cycle per second. Okay, which means, for example, I'll give you here example. If 10 crest passes each second, which means what? 10 hertz. This is the number of waves in per second. Okay, now you have here like a formula. Frequency equals what? Which is frequency and period. We know now what is the period. We know now what is the frequency. So if we want to find the frequency, you can find what? 1 over period, which is the time is required for what? Of one full cycle, right? Okay, so for example, if the period, where maybe I'll give you example here, write it here. So if the period is 2 seconds, what is the frequency? How to find? You know that frequency, you have to write the formula first, equals what? 1 over what? I'll write it like this, over period. Okay, so frequency now 1 over 5 1 over 5 period here, 2, sorry, I'm sorry, this one is 2, so 1 over 2, which is the frequency, and we can describe it by Hz, which is hertz, half hertz. Okay, how now in any questions like this, you have first to write what is the formula. You have to write it, very important. Then you have to apply 1 period, which is 2. Then you have to write the unit. I mean, for example, in the exam, how I count the marks, I'll put 1 point on the formula, okay, and another point for the how you apply it, 1 over 5, and the final answer with the unit. Okay, like these questions, it takes like it deserve like 3 points. Okay, so this is about how to find the frequency. If you have the period, you have another formula. We can use it to find the frequency from the definition of the frequency of a wave tells how many cycles occur in amount of time. So you can use this definition: frequency equals what? Number of cycles or number of waves over time. The other formula we can use, or equation we can use, actually, frequency equals number of cycles over what? Over time. Time is given. Also, what is another one that we just talked? Frequency equals what? Equals 1 over period. 1 over period. Sorry for this. Okay. What is the unit of a frequency? The unit of a frequency, which is what? Which is hertz. Is it clear now? Let's take this example, which is given in your book here. Suppose time from one crest to another, the period is 5, and if the period is given is 5, maybe I'll give you like this in the exam. The period is 5, okay, second. The frequency should be what? 1 over 5 hertz, because we took this 1 over period, so 1 over 5, okay, or 0.2 hertz, the same. In other words, on 5.2 or a wave passes each second. Okay, so these are how to use this formula. This equation is very important. How to apply and how to solve the questions are given. If you have number of cycles and you have the time, how to find the frequency. If you have the period, how to find the frequency. You have to know the definition of wave period. You have to know the definition of a frequency. Also, you have to know the definition of hertz. Listen carefully to this and listen to this video and write notes while you are listening.
Are you ready to learn about another wave property? Frequency is the number of waves produced in a given time. You can also think of frequency as a measure of the rate of vibration that caused the wave. Faster vibrations make waves with higher frequencies. Click the seek bar below the video. One hertz equals 1 wave per second. Each vertical line on the chart shown here represents 1 second. This wave has a frequency of 1 wave per second, or 1 hertz. What unit would you use to describe this wave's frequency? Frequency is measured in hertz. Period is the time it takes one wavelength to pass by a point. A period is measured in seconds because it is a measurement of time. This wave has a period of about 1 second.
Okay, this is all about the frequency for today. If you have any question about frequency and how to find the frequency, send me your questions. Thank you for listening.